Hey everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's wrap-up of the Arnold Classic UK from Birmingham, United Kingdom. Joining me from UK himself at 12:04 a.m. because the show just wrapped up. Giles Tiger Thomas, how are you, Giles?
I'm doing very well, Ron. I've just had my steak, eggs, and asparagus, and I'm ready. And I've just watched all the live on various live accounts, including Samson's, who did a really good one, and I know exactly what I'm going to say about everyone.
Okay, so before we get into it, I know a lot of people just want the results right away, but please keep watching, guys. Come on. So Andrew Jack is now 2 for 2 as a pro. He won this. A lot of people had him winning regardless. Second place, Patrick Johnson. Kind of a shocker there. Not to Giles. Giles knew how great he was. It's a shocker to me because a couple of weeks ago, I really wasn't too aware of this guy. James Hollingshead, the Shed, UK zone in 3rd place. Martin the Martian Fitzwater, 4th place. 5th place, Mark Hector, and we're assuming Jamie the Giant was probably 6th. They only announced the top 5. Giles, you know, we were looking at, obviously, at Instagram footage. It wasn't the greatest, but are you shocked by these results?
No, I think they were pretty, like the whole top 5, to be honest, there was no kind of outstanding, everyone had their strengths and weaknesses. So I was really basically having to sort of weigh up the strengths to weaknesses and who had the most and who had the least, and trying to kind of level it out. And I mean, to be honest, this top 5 was so kind of close. I think it could have gone a lot of ways. I don't think anyone would have really have complained. I mean, like Martin, I mean, he could have literally been anywhere from 1st to 4th, in my opinion, you know, because I think it's, you know, like his conditioning and stuff like that. But everyone, it was like there was no kind of, you know, like when a Ronnie or a Jay or someone walk out and you're like, oh, well, there's the winner. Everyone's fighting for second. This was very, very, and I like these kinds of contests where the top 5 could literally go any way depending on what kind of, you know, strengths and weaknesses the judges go for. So I thought it was pretty fair. And I thought overall, in all the divisions that I saw, I thought I pretty much agreed with it.
Yeah. I don't know if we're even going to go too much into the other divisions, so I'll read the results real quick for you guys. We'll probably do it. But Classic was Michael DeBoule. He's now the 2-time consecutive Arnold UK champion. Italy's Christian Zagarella in 2nd place in Classic Physique. Wesley Visser is 3rd. Craig Morton 4th. Shane Cullen 5th. Of course, Giles called the 212. He called Classic as well. He's usually right, the Mystic Tiger. Nasser Mohammed was the winner in 212. Bulgaria's Radoslav Angelov, 2nd. Ahmed Wardani from Egypt in 3rd. Peter Molnar, who was supposed to do Classic but missed his weight, 4th place. And in 5th place, the veteran David Henry, still in the top 5. Got to be almost 50 years old, and this guy still looks damn good. But let's get into the Open. So what do you think, Jen? You want to do some routines? I think we should start with let's start with the winner. Let's start with Andrew Jack.
Okay, come right up.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of butthurt people in the chat because we saw a lot of people had Shed winning, a lot of people had Patrick winning, Martin. I don't think too many people had Hector winning, but it was close. It was very close between the top 4 guys. They were all excellent today, for sure. And, you know, once we have Andrew on screen, we'll break it down because condition-wise, just like Texas, he was not the most ripped guy. There we go. So here he goes into his split. Very flexible at 290 plus pounds.
Wow.
This is Jen. This is Samson Duda's Instagram, correct?
Yes, it is.
Giles, is it Duda or Dauda? How do you say
it? I say Samson Dauda, but I pronounced it either Dauda or Dauda, and you're pronouncing it Duda. So there's 3 different ways.
Oh, just so you know, we clarified this. Miguel, we've been saying chain. It's chain.
Oh wow, is it?
Yeah, Natalia Coelho corrected me. She left me a voice message because she said, "Stop embarrassing yourself. The Brazilians are laughing at you." Here you go.
mean Natalia Coelho?
Yes, Coelho.
Natalia Coelho.
So Andrew Jack, I mean, look at this guy. The structure, the muscle bellies, that frontal belly. He just went completely blinding there in the light. Just what an insane package this guy has. All he really needs now is condition. Well, I'd like to see a little bit more hamstrings for sure, but yeah, condition-wise, I'd say he was maybe 5% better than Texas. A little bit tighter in the back, not a whole lot tighter.
I was expecting him to be tighter than he was than Texas. I mean, I fully expected that. I mean, I looked at some of the evening finals. I saw some high-resolution like video footage, the guy, I forget the name of the guy, but where they do the really high resolution. I forget the resolution they use, but yeah, he looks a little bit sharper. But I mean, he's still going to need to bring sharper conditioning to the Olympia if he wants to be a top 6 or even a top 10 guy. But I think to think that he's going to make top 6 Olympia, I think that's unrealistic this year. I still think there's a lot of improvements he needs to make to his physique. There's like little things like the inner quad, the thyroid. There's like nothing there. And he needs to just etch in a bit more detail, and because he's got lovely muscle bellies, he's got fantastic arms. I mean, I keep saying, I've said it over and over again, his front shots are absolutely sensational. I love all his front shots.
Yeah.
But for me, the side shots lacks a little bit of thickness in the chest, and the rear shots, he lacks conditioning and detail for me. But he can get that in 12 weeks for the Olympia. He can make drastic improvements to those areas. So I think he's a solid. I think he could be a top 10 guy at the Olympia, but he will have to bring better conditioning and better detail. But like I said, he's got 12 weeks now. And the thing is, when guys get wins, and especially when they get more than one win going into an Olympia, it seems to just give them this momentum in themselves and a confidence. And they just, do you know what I mean? They're not doubting themselves anymore. They kind of, now he's thinking, shit, I've gone from being an amateur in March to now I'm coming in and people are talking about me being a first call out guy at the Olympia. Yeah. So, I expect to see big improvements for the Olympia, and I'm really excited to see what he is going to bring.
Yeah, and he needs to be condition needs to be a lot better, or he's not going to. Or he'll be second call out. I hate to say it because they're not kidding around. These guys at the Olympia, Rami's going to be best ever. Hadi Chupan, God, Bonac. These guys they're out for blood.
But Ron, even if he made second call out at the Olympia 9 months ago, he was an amateur.
Oh yeah,
I think sometimes people are so in a rush to see these guys go to the top. You realize that it takes some of these guys like Ronnie Coleman. It took him years to be able to get to that point, and he was a promising athlete, a genetically gifted athlete. And that was in a very, very competitive era, maybe more competitive than now. Yeah. So you've got to really kind of just don't rush these guys, like when everyone was saying Nick Walker's going to win the Olympia. And yes, he got 5th place last year, which is they're like, oh, fans are disappointed. I'm like, that's incredible. That's a really good starting point. I mean, it's so I just think, let's get his starting point, because let's not forget the Olympia this year is going to be absolutely stacked.
Oh, 100%. It's let's get into, I want to look at this Patrick Johnson. Jen, if you could bring him up, because this is, he's from Denmark. He's been in Kuwait training under Abdullah or Al-Tabi, who is Brandon Curry's trainer, used to be Big Rami's trainer and coach. So this guy's got a great team behind him. And second place here, he beat the heavy favorite, James Hollingshead. He beat Martin Fitzwater, who looked incredible. He beat Mark Hector. So for him to be second to Andrew Jack. So here's a guy that, people were saying it's politics. He's not going to win. He won't place high because he doesn't have the social media. No, look at that physique. You can't deny the physique just because he doesn't have as many followers as somebody else. Judges really don't care about that stuff. They're looking at the physiques right in front of them. But very complete, look at the round muscle bellies. Look at that hanging hamstring. He's not missing anything.
I'm just so excited the fact that he improved so much. Because you see in the global interval, I had him on last week. Did you see the year last year and this year? And I said to him, it looks like your little brother. I said, that picture looks like your little brother, twin brother, like that's like, half your size. And that was him a year ago. Wow. So I was so happy because when he said like, oh, I'm putting everything into this, I told my boss I'm going to Kuwait for 8 weeks or I'm going to quit my job. And he said, I'm going for the win. And I was thinking, oh, mate, this is a really stacked contest, So even if you get if you get a good top 3 or even top 5, you're doing pretty well in a lineup like this. This is the biggest lineup he's ever done. So to him to get second and to really look, a real standout, because I was looking in the lineup and he looked so good in it. I mean, I was so impressed. He really did deliver, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, and like I said, now people are going to know who he is. You have to do some of the bigger shows. You have to do a few shows. You can't hide away for a year, come back and do one show and disappear. That's one thing I give a lot of these European guys like the Andreas from Italy and Theo and these guys that have done like 4, 5, 6 or more shows this year. It's a grind, but now everybody knows who they are. People are going to be expecting great things from them. But wow, this Patrick, he is something.
Good, doesn't he? It's really good. It's really
So-
good.
so
I'm
thick
so
and
happy. I'm so
round.
happy for him. He's such a cool guy.
And he kept a nice flat midsection, considering he put on, I don't know what, 20 pounds tissue over the last year.
You know, but Abdullah's been on his case for like a few years. He's been saying to him for I think it was at least 2 or 3 years. He's been saying, get yourself out to Q8. And he said, I think he bought his ticket, and he's been really hounding him for 2 years, like he did with Brandon in 2016,
Yeah.
the end of 2016. He said to Brandon, who just got last place at Olympia, you know, he really went after him, and he obviously sees this potential in Patrick as well. So I think Abdullah's got to be happy with that, you know, because he beat some, you know, James Hollinshead, Martin Fitzwater, Jamie the Giant, Mark Hector. I mean, like he said, he beat some really, really good bodybuilders who are really, you know, really sort of got a lot of momentum at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Abdullah, I don't think takes just anyone on. You know, he's only going to take someone on if he feels they have that Olympia top 3 potential, because he's a busy man, and you know he's giving these guys a lot. It's their dream. A lot of these bodybuilders dream of being able to go to Kuwait and just do nothing but bodybuild. And he's been able to live that dream, just like Brandon, just like Rami did. You know, a lot of those, the whole Camel crew.
I really hope Patrick goes to France next week and either gets a win, or, I mean, he's really have to do a lot of shows to get points to get to the Olympia. I mean, hopefully, you know, we've got France, we've got Prague, we've got Romania. I would love to see him get a win and get through to the Olympia, because he said to me this year, I mean, he said top 6 Olympian. I don't think that's realistic, but I'd just love to see him get to the Olympia this year. I think that'd be really good for him, because he had all those problems with his travel. He had problems like Samson did in 2020 and 21. I mean, it was very similar story he had, you know, when Samson couldn't get to these events. And, you know, and he's really, I think he's, you know, he really went for it by doing the 8 weeks in Q8 and training with Brandon Curry, got Coach Abdullah. I said, mate, you've got a dream team there with Oxygen, you know, so if you can't make magic happen with those guys, you know, then you're kind of wasting your time, but he done it, you know, so it proved that sacrifice was worth it.
Cool. Jen, can we look at James, the Shed Hollingshead, who...
George!
What?
George Farah.
Giles, are you yelling? What's going on? Are you okay?
George Farah.
You can hear me?
Oh, George is on.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. All right. Stop the presses, guys. George, are you there? I'm looking at the...
Look who we got here.
Let's bring him on.
Ah, awesome.
I can't see it.
That's history. History.
Yes.
History.
We're making
That's
history.
history.
Okay, guys, we now interrupt the regularly scheduled program. George Farah is backstage, I assume, with the 2-time pro champion, Andrew Jack.
That's right.
Yes. Special treat.
Congratulations.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you,
Wow.
guys. Thank you. Thank you,
job.
Ron.
Good
Thank you,
stuff.
guys.
Andrew, how do you feel, man? This is two back-to-back wins.
Andrew feels amazing. He just has so many people. He's taking pictures and stuff, so I stepped to the side.
Yeah. I mean,
Beautiful.
George, did you watch the show? I know, you know, there were some issues.
Yes.
getting in.
They,
You did watch
everything got fixed up, and everything was okay. We sat down, me and Flex in the front. I was be able to go backstage, dial them like I usually do, you know, put the oil, take care of my guys. I was, you know, very, very happy. I'm thankful, man. Thankful.
Right on. Yeah. I mean, did you ever see it as close, or did you see this as domination?
Yes. I was actually sitting right under him, so it was really like close. We were in front of the judges, basically.
Oh, I mean,
Pretty
the
cool.
contest. Did you think the contest was close between Andrew and anybody else?
Oh, you know, no. Listen, honestly, the thing is, Patrick, he came in condition, man. I mean, the guy looks amazing. I love the guy. I was, you know, because Abdullah's helping him, and Abdullah did, I mean, amazing job, because, you know, Patrick was nothing last year, and Abdullah really did amazing job. You know, Abdullah, I consider him like my little brother. I gave him some pointers and stuff because I really wanted to do. The thing is, like with Andrew, he's just like, it's such a beautiful physique and overwhelming, over dominating. You know what I'm saying? So everybody looks like it's, you know, little next to them. I don't know, man. It's so weird because he flows so beautifully. You know what I mean? But I'm proud of Patrick. He really came in, really, you know, I mean, he looked good. The guy looked good. You can't deny the guy. So I'm proud of that. And also, I mean, I can't even believe it. You know, my boy here, the Englishman, just like rocked the house. He was freaky as hell. You know what I mean? You know, I'm a little disappointed with what's his name. I keep forgetting his name.
Well, the top five was Andrew, Patrick, James Hollingshead, Martin Fitzwater, Mark Hector.
No, I'm talking about our boy, Mark, you know, Branch's boy.
Oh,
He comes in, you know.
Martin.
Yeah, he comes in. I mean, I really liked him a lot in Dallas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right here, he looked really good from the back, a little off from the front. You know what I mean? He was sweating profusely at prejudging, but I think, you know, the kid has just amazing, man, amazing, you know, shape and amazing future for 25 years old. I mean, all in all, man, those top four were tough. As a matter of fact, the whole contest, man, I mean, everybody was in shape, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
So, can you hear me, George?
Yes.
Oh, so, you know, I know you didn't peak him 100% for Texas because you weren't planning on Texas. Did you try to peak him 100% for this, or are you holding that?
No, you remember what we talked over there? I said he's gonna be, and honestly, this is how it panned out to be. You know, he was like around, you know, 298 at that show over there in Texas. He's probably around 291. I would like to see him in the, you know, like 280s, you know, 280s, lower 280s, because then everything is gonna come alive. You know what I mean? I mean, they like him. He's a little harder here, like we said, about maybe 10%. Especially, you can see it from the front shots. But you know, usually on somebody like him as big, the last thing to go is like the glutes in the back. So now the glutes, you can see it from the side, they start coming in even on some shots, but it's not, you know, appearing like to be 100%. But I think by the Olympia, man, it's gonna be crazy. And I tell you why, he will be trapped. He will be trapped. You know, Andrew, 100%, he's gonna be dangerous.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting to see that. I know that I didn't think you were gonna give us 100% for this one. So it's the Olympia. We gotta wait for that.
Yeah, nice and sharp.
Yes, here's the come the undefeated.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
That's history, baby.
He was an amateur 6 months ago.
History in the making. We made history.
Yes.
I know Flex still holds the old history, but this is a new history.
Can you get him in the shot, George? Can you get him in the shot with you?
First amateur show, turned pro in March.
Yeah.
Texas, first pro show. Now my third show. I've just done 3 shows in 7 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And it's all back to back.
And he's holding the Arnold trophy.
And I'm holding the crystal.
It looks heavy.
Is that ice? Make sure it doesn't melt.
Yes,
sir. And we came out of nowhere.
For a guy that
Dug them.
you know, for a guy that was an amateur 6 months ago to have two pro wins, including an Arnold Classic win, two Mr. Olympia qualifications. That's insane.
It's a blessing, honestly. And you know what makes it so much better? Because Andrew's such a humble guy. He's such a good guy, man, and everybody loves him. I mean, he takes his time, talks to people, and we need this. And Patrick also like this, and I like it, man. I mean, I think those top guys were like really good to the people. And I love to see that because that's the sport we all love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny. The last time I remember someone going into the Olympia with multiple qualifications was a rookie was Flex Wheeler back in '93.
Yes, and that's what we're talking about. You know, that's what we were talking about. He was trying to tell you that Flex is the one who did it a long time ago, but he said now he's doing it in a new age.
Yeah, that was 29 years ago.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Wow. Well,
anyway, man, listen, I love you guys. Thank you, MD.
Thank you, George.
Sure, we'll talk soon. Okay, we just
guys. We'll see you at Olympia.
Appreciate it, George.
I will see you at the Olympia. Yeah, good seeing you. Love you guys. Take care.
All right, congratulations. Bye-bye.
Well done, guys.
You got it. All right, bye-bye.
Ron, that was brilliant. That was really cool. That was a nice little. That was very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. You got to hang up the call though, George.
That was a total surprise. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well
I
done, Jen, for organising. That was very sneaky of you. I like it.
he's still on the screen. Yeah.
No, it's Jen.
Oh, he
Jen.
just dropped off. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled program. let's just finish reviewing a few posing routines if we could, because I want to look at James Hollingshead. This is the guy after judging, I thought he could pull it off because his back shots. And, you know, we say the shows are won from the back, even though that's kind of not accurate. Man, his back shots were insane today. Insane.
Hang on.
Yeah.
What I think his riddle bicep was the best, but I thought that Martin Fitzwater's rear lat spread was the best. I thought that overall top to toe, I mean, my eyes were drawn to Martin, but the rear double bicep of James was really impressive. Because I think with James, I don't even look at his back when he has a real bicep, it's his shoulders, because his shoulders are so big. They really jump off the bone, and his traps, everything. And it's a really, because he's got a lot of lines and stuff going on in his back shots, in that riddle bicep especially. I was impressed by that. That was a really good shot for him.
Yeah, you know, he does remind me of like a Branch or a Dorian in that it's that real dense, grainy muscle that you can tell this guy is super strong, trains brutally hard. Not that they don't all train hard. I'm sure they all do, of course. But
and Ron, the one thing I know, first thing I thought of when I saw his sweep on his legs was you going on about the sweep on his legs. It was like, I was like, Ron's gonna like this.
Look at it right there. Look at that. Nice. See, that's how everybody's legs should look.
It's like that, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, it should go out like in a perfect circle, just like that.
He's got an obese leg sweep.
Yeah, and that's no oil. It's all loyal.
Yeah,
It's real. Yeah. Mr. Giles, what did I say? Mike's man stuff is keeps trying to get your attention, Giles, on the chat. Mike's man stuff.
Oh, great.
I mean, it wasn't that hard, guys. If you predicted Andrew Jack to win, you know, it didn't take a Nostradamus. And Damus. He's damn good. James, I don't know. From this footage, it's hard to see because I've seen some other Instagrams where he looked even tighter than this. It all depends on where they're sitting and where the lights are falling on stage relative to them. Condition wise, I think
his legs are bigger this year. His legs are bigger this year.
His legs are done.
700-pound squats.
Check out this back shot on James. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, his legs are done. Stick a fork in him. Doesn't need to do a damn thing for him anymore.
Yeah, look at the shoulders and the lines that go in the traps in the middle of his back.
Yeah, look at that. Each trap is the size of his head.
What do you think James will do next? Do you think he'll do another show to try and qualify? Because he's very close. I mean, that whole, like I said, that not just the top three, the whole top five was close. And I think any of those guys in the top five could get a win and get a qualification there.
Well, France is next weekend. And what's that, like a 1 hour flight? Not even. What's that, a 30-minute flight for you guys?
Well, you could drive it.
Under the ocean?
Yeah.
You can actually drive under the ocean, that channel thing?
Tunnel. It's not on top of the water. It's not a bridge.
Well, how far? How much? What's the distance?
20, a few miles. 20 miles, is it?
20 miles underwater?
Yeah, it's like the Midtown Tunnel in New York.
I've done the ferry, and the ferry's like an hour or something. I can't remember. It's been years since I've been on it, but it's not far. It's not. You could drive. He could drive from London to France within an afternoon.
I've heard that was possible, but I thought it was like science fiction. But I guess it's real. Apparently, they really do have a tunnel underneath the water. I thought they were joking.
We've got inside toilets over here as well.
No, don't you have the outhouses? No. I thought you were going to get electricity next. But,
well, we might be running out soon.
True.
Now, those are Ron-isms.
Yeah. Which ones? When I go, but James looks fantastic. If I were him, I would jump into France. I mean, who else is going to beat him? I mean, this Patrick might go. And
Mark's doing it. Mark Hector's doing it.
So he already beat Mark. Things could change in a week, of course.
Mm-hmm.
If Patrick Johnson does it, you know, the worst James would probably do is second. He might pick up some more points, and then
I think Patrick's really building some momentum now, isn't he? I think he'd be a fool to not do a couple more shows, because I think he should try and get to the Olympia now, not just do another show, get a few points and shut it down. I think he should just keep going. I'd love to see him do Prague, Romania, France, Spain. I mean, there's Spain as well, don't forget, in November.
Yeah. Isn't there another one in Italy?
He's trying to ring me at this time of night.
Yeah, what the hell? It's 12:30 in the morning over there, for goodness sake.
Okay, that's weird.
Peter Who says the lighting sucks for this Arnold UK. I wouldn't say that. We're looking at phone footage from people. It's not, if this was, actual high quality web stream webcast, I think it would look a lot better, the lighting. But phones are only so good. And I don't know where Samson was sitting. I don't think he's too far back, but from my experience, you have to be right up there, like right up front, if you want to get good footage with an iPhone.
The MC's trying to call me, Billy Garnon. He's trying to call me now.
Oh, wow.
Well, you can put him on speaker.
Billy, are you watching the live now and you're trying to distract me whilst I'm working?
Put him on speaker.
Should I put him on?
Yeah, if he says, take me on, tell him he's on speaker, so it's, legal.
I'm Ronnie Security at the Arnold's, he's saying. Hang on. Okay, I'll ring him back.
Oh.
Ask him if he wants to be live.
Yeah, we need his permission because we are live on YouTube. But this is
Billy.
Hello, mate. Sorry to disturb you, mate.
Who is this?
I'm Ronnie's security guard for the Arnold, bruv.
For tomorrow. You're not Billy Garnon, the MC.
No, brother.
Oh shit, mate! I'm on an MD live thing. I thought you were the MC trying to call me. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, sorry, brother. I'm just letting you know because you're not going to drive up from London to Birmingham, right?
Mate, I can't. We're on live. I'm literally. I'll have to call you back.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. I thought it was Billy Garnon.
That would have been
I'm
cool.
Ronnie Security at the Arnold. Are you
This is
awake?
live TV, folks.
Hang
Live
on.
TV.
I hope Ronnie's okay. I hope Ronnie's okay. That's weird. Okay, sorry.
You're off the phone, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to Martin the Martian Fitzwater, if we could.
Okie dokie.
Next down the line, we're trying to show you all the top open guys here.
Okay.
Martin
So this
Fitzwater
is
on
Martin.
screen now.
So Martin, people were saying he looked better than Texas. I was there in Texas. I don't know how he could look any better than
I
that.
think he did.
He looked fantastic in Texas. Placings with Son. So it was Andrew Jack first, then Patrick Johnson, James Hollingshead, Martin Fitzwater, Mark Hector. That was your top five. So we're looking at Martin Fitzwater right now. Oh man, I thought he looked fuller than this in Texas, to be honest with you. Little fuller and rounder.
Ron, I think in the front he did, but I mean, he definitely looked a little bit more downside. But if you looked at his abs and the hamstrings and the detail, he looked absolutely. His condition was fantastic, but he definitely lost some fullness in the front.
Yeah, I mean, when we were looking at the top four comparisons earlier, you could see he was just out muscled. These guys were just monstrous. But from the back, he looks a lot bigger, which is ironic. Most guys turn around and they don't look as big from the back.
It's huge.
Yeah, he definitely from the front, he lost some fullness in the legs. His legs are still fantastic, but his legs are normally bigger and fuller than this, for sure. Still a great job. 25 years old, and last year I was not overly impressed with him at either Texas or I saw the potential. I said, this kid needs to get his condition together, and he got it together this year.
I mean, he's already done that in a year? So, I mean, he was pretty good at Texas, but this condition was next level.
Yeah. So that's another 6 weeks of dieting. He's been on the grind.
Yeah.
And man,
I thought his back shot, like I said, Ray Latsford for me was the best in the show. And I mean, even you look at his glutes and his hamstrings, and then when he was in the front, he was relaxed, his abs just looked stuck on. They looked everything looked tight and full. I mean, I was really impressed.
And there he says goodbye. Goodbye, Martin. James is amazing. Oh, here we go, Brandon. Yeah, Martin had a quad injury during his last prep. Yeah, I had heard that, I think it was 6 weeks out from Texas. He had a slight quad tear, couldn't train his legs all the way up to the show. And I think it's still affecting him. What are you saying? I can hear you. I can see you move. You're talking on the screen, but there's a little bit of delay on the audio. Were you saying something? Were you referring to that, Charles?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. Your lips are moving. So let's go on to Mark Hector, Jen, if we could, who was 5th place.
Unfortunately, we did not get Mark Hector footage.
No worries. We're going to go to Jamie the Giant then, if we could.
We do have Jamie.
Who is no longer the world's tallest pro bodybuilder, unfortunately.
Who is?
Gentleman who won the amateur. What's his name, Giles?
Sorry. Josh Marley, 6'6".
Wow.
Yeah. And he trains at Jamie's gym.
Wow.
And Jamie's gym is a private gym.
Unbelievable. So yeah, now we have a 6'6" pro bodybuilder, Jamie, what are you going to do? Are you going to hang on inversion table like the classic guys and try to get taller? I don't know. He looks fantastic. Look at that. I mean, usually you don't see good legs on a taller guy. Jamie's got the quads. His front lat spread is just a lights out shot. Look at the shoulder to waist differential on that. Wide as an airplane or a jet plane, as we used to say.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Jamie. I thought he really did nail it. Like you said, when he took that few days off after Italy, I thought, oh no, he needs to be suffering. And then when he put his first update, I think after he'd had those few days off, he looked sharper. So I was really impressed. So yeah, I mean, from the front, fullness, his condition, and also the separation, which was really good. I thought at the night show, I thought he peaked. I just think as well as he could have peaked. I mean, the fullness, the condition, separation, everything, I thought was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you don't like these numerical percentages I'm always tossing around, but what percentage do you think he was at Yamamoto 2 weeks ago versus today?
85, and now I think he was like 95, 100. I thought he peaked beautifully. I mean, nice. Like I said, in Yamamoto, it was the glutes and the hams, and everything else was satisfactory, but that was the area that needed to come in, and it did come in for this, but everything else just came in. I think he peaked beautifully. Yeah.
So we got a couple people talking about his height. Wiz Son says, I'm 6'2", it's hard getting mature muscle bellies. Brendan Hall says, if Jamie were 6 foot to 6'2", he'd be a top tier pro, but he looks awesome for his height always. Jamie we don't know where he placed. We're assuming 6th. They only announced top 5. I'm sure the full results will be up on ifbbpro.com, their website. Probably tomorrow, Monday, they'll have that up, the score sheet. You can see where the full results of everybody. But, congratulations, Jamie. If he wants to go to the Olympia, he's going to have to do a couple more shows, but he doesn't seem to be afraid of doing a lot of shows. So we'll see. Do you know what his plans are, Giles? Or he probably hasn't even told.
Jamie, no, he didn't say anything beyond the Arnold UK. So, okay. But I would, I don't know, because there's another show in Italy, don't forget, because I messaged him and I said, mate, there's another show in Italy in 3 weeks, which was 4 weeks after the last Italy show, but he didn't respond. So I'm assuming he didn't want to do it. And he did tell me, he says, I'm definitely doing Italy, definitely doing the Arnold UK. And he didn't say anything beyond that.
Yeah. I mean, most of these guys, they put all their tunnel vision into the next show. And it's, the no plan B mentality where, you don't want to think about possibly not winning, because then that takes away your mental edge for this show. So once the show is over, then they have to start thinking about where to go next. I'm sure everyone who didn't win tonight has probably got their mind on the next show. Yeah. Jen, what else do we have from finals from any other divisions or no?
We do have the confirmation round.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Confirmation round, which is fairly new phenomenon. They've only started doing that a few years ago in pro bodybuilding in the IFBB Pro League. This is where they do the judging basically all over again. For those of you who don't know, they have a regular judging round usually earlier in the day. Then at the finals, they have everybody pose, do their posing routines. Then they do a confirmation round, and then they give you the final results. But the confirmation round is just to make sure nobody got way sharper or nobody got way softer, because if they did, placings can shift. I've seen them shift 2, 3, sometimes even 4 places based on drastic changes that were made in those times. Especially you see that at the Olympia, because the Olympia does judging on Friday night and finals on Saturday night. So a lot can happen to these people's bodies in 24 hours. So what we're looking at now is confirmation round from the evening finals. James was there in the middle. He was very confident, as he should have been. He looked fantastic. Look at Patrick Johnson, so thick and round, so full. So they moved Hector over to the left, put Andrew between Martin and Jamie. Yeah, so if that was a 6, I'm assuming Jamie had to be 6, because this was the last call out, I'm thinking, for confirmation round, probably. Yeah, look at Andrew, he's so wide. It's aesthetics, people were saying in the chat, aesthetics over condition, this and that. I mean, wow, look at the side leg on Patrick there. The separation between the hams and the quads.
And very dense.
Yeah. He's probably the surprise of the show. I would say he's the best surprise of the show, Patrick Johnson. Because I guarantee you, vast majority of American fans, no idea who this guy was.
You had him on Global last week.
Yeah, Giles always has these people on way before anybody knows who they are. That's why we have you, Giles. I mean, there's so much great talent over there in Europe that until they start doing more shows, and I know the USA isn't the center of the universe, but it helps to come over and do the shows like New York Pro, Chicago Pro, Tampa Pro. It's just more eyes on you. It's more exposure, more visibility. So I encourage all these guys, if they can get over here, just why not? Like even in classic, Urs came over and did Tampa last year, and that was a breakout show for him. He won that, and immediately, look what happened. Yeah. Like 2 months later, he was second at the Olympia. No, it's not second. He was fourth at the Olympia. Yeah. Ramon was fifth, right?
Yes.
All right. We got to stop talking about classic. So where James Hollingshead placed, someone's asking. So I'm going to read it again. This is first through fifth, guys. First place, Andrew Jack. Then it was Patrick Johnson, James Hollingshead, Martin Fitzwater, Mark Hector, and I'm assuming Jamie the Giant, Jamie Christian Johal. It was not announced beyond top 5, but here he is in the final confirmation round, the final call out. He was there, so I'm very much assuming he was 6th place. James was 3rd. He deserved 1st. This is drama. Who was 2nd? Oh, I just read that, guys. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's all the. Jose was commenting.
Jose was here?
No, he was on the Samsons, because we're seeing we're seeing Samson's chat as we're using his footage there. Samson Dauda.
Put it back up.
Samson will be in the Olympia, of course. Samson's already qualified. And look at him, he's doing us a solid. I mean, there was no live stream of the show, guys, so that's why we're using Instagram footage. So we thank those who were streaming today. They would have been kicked out of most pro bodybuilding shows for doing that, but you know what? Those shows have live streams and this one didn't. And had they not been there doing this, we would have no visual record of this contest except for the photos.
Interested to know the reason why they didn't have live stream. I mean, I don't really get that whole thing. I don't understand it. When they had it last year, it's already, it just say repeat what you did the year before. But I mean, it's done now, so it's I just find it very odd.
Well, I mean,
the whole weekend was a bit odd, wasn't it? The whole thing with Arnold and everything, and
I mean, I imagine all the circumstances around why the Arnold name was removed from the show and all that. It'll all come out eventually. We're not going to speculate or talk about. You and I both might know things behind the scenes, but it's not really our place to put all that out there in the public. It'll all come out. But for now, let's look at the show, guys. Let's look at this. Fantastic top 6. Very impressed. This is one of the better top 6s, and it should be. It's an Arnold Classic event. Sometimes
it's so much better when the top 5 could literally be thrown in any order. I mean, literally, I was constantly looking at all these different footage and photos, and I just thought, I really don't know where any of this top 5 is going to fall. I had a pretty good idea by the way the judges were moving them. But I thought the way they were moving him, I did think Andrew and Patrick, actually, by the way they were moving him. But I thought that James seemed to be kind of in the mix as well. And then Mark Hector, it was just, and then Martin, they were moving him, and anybody, he was bringing better condition. It was really, I think these kinds of shows are definitely add more excitement to the scheme of things, where there's not 1 or 2 dominating names that is going to be 1 and 2, and then it's everybody else. I think it's and like I said, it adds a lot of intrigue and excitement, I think.
Oh, of course. I mean, when the top 5 is this close, you're like biting your nails on the edge of your seat. How's it going to go? What are the judges going to do? It's so much more exciting, because I've been to shows where the winner is very apparent and obvious, and then it's like a battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And sometimes I don't even care after that point, because the winner is so much better than everyone else. And sometimes 2nd, 3rd, the quality goes down dramatically after 1st place. In some shows I've been to, the quality of the field. This was not the case. I like shows where all the way down to 5 or even 6 places, any one of these guys is worthy of the win on a given day under the right circumstances. Like
Max Charles wasn't even in the first call out. So what was he, 7th, 8th? Yeah. I mean, this is Max Charles. You'd expect a guy like that to automatically, in an overseas show, be first call out. You'd think he'd be top 3 shoo-in, but I mean, it was, you know, it shows you how good the lineup was, you know. So, and good for Jamie as well, taking out a couple of guys, you know, bigger names, you know, like Max Charles and stuff. I mean, that's a good scalp, you know, to be in a first call out with these kinds of guys. I mean, that's really great for people like Jamie.
I'd love to see the
100%.
scorecard when it comes out, just to see how close it
Yes,
was.
yeah, no. But you know what? The scorecards aren't like they used to be. They're not like, there's not as much variety. It's like 3-3-3, 6-6-6, 9. It's almost like the head judge, by where he calls for them in the call outs, almost the other judges fall into line as if that's like they're taking instructions from the head judge. That seems to be the new way of judging. Maybe that's what works for them now. But it used to be, you'd see the scorecards, you'd see one judge had Martin first, and then, you know, another one had Andrew first. But it doesn't seem to be, it seems to be more cut and dry now. Maybe they just do it for speed, or, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to speak to maybe one of the judges, get them on globals, maybe ask them how it now works, you know, because this seems to be, they've been doing this for about a year or two now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I think that the score sheets aren't a clear indication always of how close things are, because a lot of times guys will get all first place votes, but that doesn't mean the second place guy wasn't close. It just means it was very close, but most of the judges felt whoever won, whoever they picked for the winner, just had something, some quality or combination qualities to edge the other guy out. It doesn't mean that he was that much better than the second place guy. Sometimes they are very close.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's
Did you
somebody's
think it
got to be
was,
winners.
Tampa.
Tampa.
Do you think it was like a unanimous decision, or do you think it was pretty? Do you think maybe if you actually really looked at judges' actual scores and asked them individually what they played, do you think it would be all over the place? Because I think it'd be quite a mixed bag, this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see the score sheets when they come out tomorrow as well. That'll be on ifbbpro.com, guys. That's the official IFBB Pro League website, ifbbpro.com. They have all the upcoming contest schedules, scores, results, all that good stuff. Yeah, I wonder if Andrew, because Andrew won Texas with a perfect score. I wonder if he won this one perfect score as well. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I bet James and, you know, maybe had a couple of firsts in there, and, you know, maybe those ones were eliminated. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Patrick, I mean, maybe he could have had firsts and fourths. Do you know what I mean? Because he's quite, you know, he wasn't exactly a front runner coming in, but he ended up being a front.
Yeah. We don't have any footage of the classic winner, do we, Jim?
The classic was Michael Duboul.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, people are asking about classic.
I think we have something from earlier. Let me see.
So who was second in the classic? I missed that. I was just
Wesley, right?
Classic was Michael Duboul winner. Then it was Christian Zagarella. Yeah.
That's the guy I was talking about in the pre-judging wrap-up. I said he was really big and had big arms, and he didn't look like a classic because he's so big. He was the one who won the Yamamoto, and I said how, you know, we couldn't remember his name, right. Because you said Wesley first, but I'd seen the high quality footage and I'd seen that he wasn't sharp enough. But the Zagarella, whatever his name is, and Duboul really, I mean, Duboul to me was the clear winner outright.
Yeah, I was bamboozled. I was tricked by Wesley's height and structure and those big arms and chest. And yeah, Duboul has just a beautiful. Duboul to me has. It's like a modern day Frank Zane. Everything just perfectly proportioned, balanced, symmetrical. Man, you know.
You see his frontal bicep and the way he angled his body and the condition and the fullness and just everything. I mean, he was really. I mean, the condition. I mean, it literally is actually humanly impossible to get.
There he is. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. See, that's what classic is supposed to be. They're not supposed to be massive. They're just supposed to be perfectly proportioned and shape, tiny joints, tiny waists. Duboul, I think he's going to be in the conversation now for top 5 at the Classic Physique Olympia.
Duboul.
You
think so?
Yeah, you don't think he's that good? Come on.
Okay, Neil Curry versus Michael Duboul. Who's better?
Well, one's going to hate me if I say the other one. I like Duboul's shape better. I do. Neil's bigger. He's more massive, no doubt. I'd have to see them next year. I've never seen them next to each other.
I mean, New York Pro's a bigger show than this one.
Yeah, I mean, we need to see all these people. I mean, the Classic Olympia is going to be insane this year.
I had also in Global, I had another classic name as well. I mean, I did a fantastic interview. We went and we talked a lot about the classic and the evolution of the classic and the classic pro. So, I mean, I've literally just rendered it now. So that'll be uploading tonight, Jen. So you can have a sneaky peek tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful.
Right.
Yeah.
We gotta
do it early because I'm off tomorrow with Ronnie. So
we gotta let Giles go. It's almost 1 a.m.
I've got to still edit Global yet. I've got to edit Global and get it uploading, and then I'm going to get up at 7. Lawrence cooked Ronnie's chicken for him. His good old chicken.
Did you get the KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce?
No, we haven't got any. I'm so sorry. She put some, and I said, just don't make it too spicy because I know Ronnie doesn't like spicy chicken because I got him a medium at Nando's once, and he says, no, I want lemon and herb, which is what the girls eat.
Okay, yeah, Tony got screwed over. Yeah, so let's let you go, Giles. So thank you so much, Giles. I can't believe you're up this late.
I don't mind. No, I can carry on talking because I want to talk about the 212, mate.
Okay. Do we have any footage?
I can go another 10 minutes. I mean, I've been up bloody, Derek's driving tomorrow, so I can sleep in the car.
So yeah, you called it. Nasser Mohammed from Kuwait blew that out of the water. Radoslav Angelov in second place. Ahmad Wardani, definitely way sharper than he was in Texas a few weeks back. Peter Molnar in fourth, who was not even, he's a classic physique competitor, but he missed the cutoff. He missed the weigh-in. And David Henry. Beat Henry.
I mean, a guy that's supposed to be classic and ends up in a 212 in the wrong category and then ends up beating one of the greatest of all time. I mean, that's surely a bit of a feather in his cap, that one.
So we have it on screen now, and we're looking at, I think this is the top 5 call out here. So we have Henry on the right. I think that's Wardani next to him in the sparkly silver trunks. Not sure who that is in the middle. You just see a face. I just remember the color of these two's trunks.
Tony got screwed over the years. Who does he mean?
I don't know. Which Tony is that?
People throw these names out. And I'm like, who are you talking about?
Everyone's got their fans and their agenda.
Oh, okay. I just put the guy. If you're on the comments, just please put the last name and just so we can respond and because like obviously we want to be able to respond and give our take on what.
All right. So you see the light green trunks? Is that Nasser?
Freeman.
God, they're talking ancient history now.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
The X-Man.
Yeah. See, people just bring up random stuff in there. We had people talking about Rami.
Yeah.
So the light green trunks right there in the middle, is that Nasser Mohammed?
Yeah. I mean, he really just stood out. As soon as I saw the lineup, because he got 7th at Olympia last year. So statistically, he's one of the best guys up there. But after that 7th, he did a few more shows and he was getting 3rds and 4ths in these kind of small 212 shows, and he kind of fell off. And I thought, maybe not. It wasn't a fluke. You don't get fluke 7th place at the Olympia, but he didn't. It's like he just didn't. He just kind of fell off, and now he's come back. And I mean, he looks his readable bicep. I mean, he was so stacked, full of muscle. I mean, he was bursting. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he was so thick and he was in good condition. He wasn't missing any body parts, looked great in every single pose. So, I'm really happy for him. And I'm glad. I think that was really good judging that way. Really good judging.
So everybody jumped up a place in this year's 212 Olympia because Lunsford went to open. True. How high do you think Nasser Mohammed could do at the Olympia, Giles?
Good question.
I mean, if you could get 6 or 6 to 8, I mean, that's really, even if he held his 7th place of this year, it's probably going to be a tougher 212 Olympia because the amount of new names that are coming into the sport. I mean, if he could kind of even maintain that position of like around 7th, I mean, he's going to be doing well. I mean, maybe sneaking top 6. Yeah, I could see him as a top 6 guy. Absolutely.
I mean, anything over what he's had 7th is an improvement. You're moving up.
Yeah.
Joe S says, Ron, address Martin and what the hype is about. I mean, what the hype? He's
amazing.
He's a great kid. He's a great bodybuilder.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, anytime someone has a lot of hype behind them and they don't win, all these guys have a lot of hype behind them and they can't all win. So then you hear, he's all hyped. He was overhyped. But, this is our sport. We're passionate about it. We have all the respect in the world for these athletes. So yeah, we're going to hype them up. I feel that's part of my job. I think Giles would agree. That's why we have MD Global Muscle. It's why we have the Ron Line Report. We want to give these guys more exposure, let people know their personalities. And, if we can help do anything to help build their fan bases, they all have their own social media. They can work really hard on that too, of course. And most of them do a great job with that too. But yeah, hype, that's part of what we do. It's the excitement of sport.
And also, Ron, while I'm getting hate for criticizing Andrew Jack's condition in Texas, which I've had a lot of this week, but I stand by it. The standard of posing was terrible in this show, mate. I've got to say. I was expecting at least even if the posing is just pretty much like the standard it is nowadays, you just expect one guy to make the effort. And I'm so sad to say, what I saw, the routines I saw, I didn't see anyone that even made slight effort with their posing. And I think the overall standard of, even when they were coming out with just in their 60 seconds, some of the guys weren't holding their poses. And it's like some guys just don't know how to pose nowadays. And like Samson, I mean, there's a guy that, he's big, he's aesthetic, and he's putting all this effort into his posing and his compulsories and the way he hits them. And it makes him stand out, because I think as the higher up you go in this sport, the smaller the margins are to be able to sneak past. The difference between 10th and 5th at the Olympia is not actually as big as you think. Do you know what I mean? So these little things, you've got to literally tick every single box, and like things like conditioning and posing are two things that you can work on. You don't have to be genetically gifted to be a good poser or to get condition. It just comes from putting the effort in. I just wish we could go back, because you think about you and I started following the sport in the 80s and 90s, and guys, go back and watch those Olympias, and then you'll see what we're banging on about, because that's the standard I hold these guys to. As a fan, following, and I'm shocked that they can't even put together like a decent choreographed, interesting 2-minute routine.
I think it all started years ago when they stopped scoring the posing routine.
Problem.
And the posing routine was never scored properly anyway. It was never scored on how good of a poser they were. Because I remember shows where Lee Labrada would be by far the best poser, and I look at the scorecards and he was like 5th or 6th in the posing round. I'm like, huh? Yeah. So
the thing is, if it's really close and it is neck and neck, and there's a tie for 5th and 6th or 3rd and 4th, and someone comes out and absolute, like Patrick Moore did at the 2019 Olympia, really, it's like, wow, what do you think the judges are going to do if it's literally on it? It's like, it's just teetering on the edge. Do you know what I mean? What do you think they're going to do? They are going to give it to the guy that's, maybe presenting his physique better, not just doing an entertaining routine or choreographed routine.
Yeah. I'd say it's like calves. It rarely comes down to calves. It would have to be very, very close. And then the only difference was one guy had calves and the other one didn't. Yeah. Because, years ago, like in the days of Arnold, they used to spend an hour or two every day on their posing. I guarantee you, maybe 1 to 3 guys in the IFBB Pro League Open do that now, if any of them do that. I doubt it.
Terence Ruffin, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm live. Can't do it. The wife's telling me to turn the oven on. Can't do it, Janet.
Turn the oven on. I'm working, dear.
Yeah, I can't come. I'm not baking now. So what are you, my Betty Crocker? So what was prize money? We don't know, Joe. I didn't listen to good night, Ron. If it helps. Miguel Chain, the double L in English sounds like Brazilian Portuguese.
Everybody's on you about that one.
Chain. Yeah, see, Portuguese wasn't an option in school. They had Spanish and French. I took Spanish.
Well, my suggestion was calling it show off the chain. It would have been off the chain.
Chain.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah,
Doesn't sound right.
So I think we'll wrap it up. I will put in the description to this video, guys, top 5 for Open, Classic, and 212 in a moment, because a lot of people are still asking what the breakdown of the classes were. In Brazil, we had a qualifying tournament of Classic Physique yesterday. We're in 60,000 people followed on YouTube. Brazil is the fastest bodybuilding country in the world. Absolutely. That's why we have Brazilian Beat every Thursday, usually,
Yes.
right? Every Thursday, produced by Giles. You do produce the show, right, Giles?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm kind of, help.
You're like the executive producer. You get the executive producer credit, like in the movies.
And I'm associate producer.
Yeah, Jen's the associate producer. But,
Team effort.
That's every Thursday. It covers all the divisions coming out of Brazil. Miguel Chain does a fantastic job. He's basically the Giles of Brazil, the top bodybuilding. Look at all the dinosaurs.
He's not that cool. He's not that cool.
Good Lord, look at all those dinosaurs.
Dino, Roman Dino.
Yeah, okay.
Socorrista do Bem is spamming the chat now with dinosaur emojis. 'Cause
So
we're not
cheers
talking
for
about Ramona.
Ramondino.
Yeah. Ramon Curie.
Really hyping this guy. I mean, you talk about hype. Ramondino is getting the hype and the support. So, I mean, there's a guy that they're expecting. But I mean, he made top 5 at Olympia his first year, 5th place in Olympia. And I mean, I saw him in Spain, 2-3 months before, and he was second to Fabian Mayer.
Yeah.
So he wasn't, and he didn't really stick in my mind as someone absolutely that incredible. And then he went to the Olympia, and then he just became this superstar overnight, by making top 5, like Urs did, did Tampa, and then he went to the Olympia, got 4th. And now just like he's in the conversation with Ruffin and Bumstead now. It's incredible. When you get that, if you get a good place at the Olympia, and you deserve it, and it's come off the back of maybe one sort of not a minor win, but not like a major win, your career can absolutely explode overnight.
Yes.
Yeah. Look at all these dinosaurs over there, guys, in the chat. This is
They love
insane.
him.
It's Bubstead.
Bubstead. So Ramon's actual name, I believe, is Ramon Rocha Quiros. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it slightly incorrectly.
Very good.
A lot of these guys, we don't know their real names. You have to, look
And
it
there's
up.
another
They go
one
by
coming up in Classic Physique. Miguel mentioned him twice on the last 2 episodes. Gabriel Zaccanelli. They refer to him as the Brazilian Bumstead.
The Brazilian Bumstead. Does he have a mustache?
I
No?
don't think he does.
Oh, then he can't be the Brazilian Bumstead.
Or he might. I have to look at it again.
I interviewed Chris Bumstead's stunt double today in Global, when you'll find out on Wednesday.
And I feel very happy that my Chris Bumstead interview was so fantastic that Nick Trigilli made a video based on it, and so did Coach Greg Doucette up in Canada.
Yes.
So if you guys haven't watched it, on Monday, we put a 40-minute interview that I did with Chris Bumstead out. Please go back and check that out if you haven't seen it. It was gold. Chris is an amazing interview. I don't get to talk to him that often, but when I do, it's always great. Yes.
With Chris, he's one of those guys you just want to hate him, but you can't, because when you speak to him, you realize he's actually such a cool, decent human being. Yeah. And he's so, like, I remember when interviewing, I'm thinking, I secretly want to hate this guy because he's got everything. And he has literally he's got everything. And he's not even remotely affected by it. He's kind of so down to earth and realistic. And it makes me love the guy even more. And I love the fact that he's so real, and that is part of the reason why he is so successful. I think he's a real sort of shining light in this industry, I think. And I think anyone who looks up to him, I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah. I mean, I met him back when he was just turned pro. I met him he had just won his first pro show the week before in Pittsburgh. And then he won the Toronto Pro in 2018. Was it 2018? I'm all mixed up. Anyway, I mean, he hasn't changed. He's the same kid he was back then, down to earth, humble. Cool. He's self-deprecating. He makes fun of his own lisp, for God's sake. He made shirts that say "Favage." I mean, who does that? I've got
to do an Olympia All-Star tour with him. We were supposed to do one this year, but thanks to the Irish incident, they put it back a little bit.
Yeah, stop. No more heart attacks for you, sir. Are you going to do one of these, the Superman thing, and show us the scar?
No.
I'd be doing that every day if it was me.
Healing up really nicely, actually. And I had my first proper decent training session the other night. I actually got a pump, and I actually got into some decent weight and intensity. And I was thinking, I wasn't paranoid about my heart rate going up, and it was, I managed to immerse myself in it. So I came home and it was like a state euphoria. It was like I was on drugs or something. Lauren's like, "You're right," and I was like, "No, it's just a really good arm session." I just nice. Remember what Arnold said in the Pumping On about the pump?
We could say the C word. It's not a swear. It's like, can I say it, Jen? Is it okay? Pumping On is like PG-13, and we're on YouTube.
I wouldn't.
People know. Bodybuilding fans.
That word gets people riled up.
Yeah. Okay, triggers. It's a trigger word. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, guys. It's 1:03 a.m. for Giles. He's got editing to do. He's taking Ronnie Coleman to a gym tomorrow in London for an appearance. What's the gym, Giles?
Zone Gym in North London, 6 till 9 p.m. So I'm picking him up midday tomorrow.
Awesome.
So can't wait to see him.
Have a great appearance, man. Have a great appearance with him. Jen, I think we should wrap it up.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right. We thank all of you who joined us on the chat. Another great show in the books. We had no live stream, but thanks to Jen and her technical wizardry, we were able to bring you some coverage today of both the judging and the finals. We did one of these for the judging earlier in the day. If you didn't check that out, you can go back and take a look at that. And I always remind you, subscribe, like, share, comment, and that little bell thing over there in the right-hand corner, smash that so you know when we put out videos, because we put out great video content all the time. If you don't do that, how are you going to know? So I want to thank Giles Tiger Thomas for joining us so late. It's been a long day for everybody. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Jen made this
studio,
all
I'm actually in the studio. You noticed? See the cameras in the background and everything?
Yeah, that's the, what do you call the studio?
And I've got to get the YouTube button put here on the wall, but I need a proper drill to get it in. So when people come, the guests come on, they see that and they think I'm mega successful and everything. So
Like, oh boy, he got official YouTube recognition for that.
yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so guys, thank you so much for watching our coverage today of the Arnold Classic UK from Birmingham in the United Kingdom. And join us next time. We'll be doing coverage of some more shows coming up. And if you have that notification bell, you'll know all about it. So that's it. From here in Boston, from the UK, and Jen's in Long Island, New York. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.